in front of a live virtual audience on the Duck Pond. Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, live. Malliard.com. Malliard.com. One more thing before we start. Let me turn it over to my friend that you may know from Ancient Aliens and The Curse of Oak Island and many other things, Robert Clotworthy.
On the Malliard Report, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily of Evergreen Podcasts, KillerPodcast.com, sponsor or affiliate, or any other individual or group. On the Malliard Report, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the show are solely those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily of Evergreen Podcast, KillerPodcast.com, sponsor or affiliate, or any other individual or group.
Oh boy, what a night. Tonight, we've been doing this show for 11 years now. Today is the anniversary, the actual anniversary. A lot of times dates don't line up, right? Normally it's a different day and we celebrate it on this day, this last Tuesday in May. But today the date lines up. So it hits me a little bit harder when the day lines up because it takes me back to looking at that little countdown clock to 11 years ago today. And how much has changed and how much is the same. And a lot to be thankful for, but we're doing open lines tonight, and we're going to kind of rein it into things related to the show, just because I think it's appropriate to kind of keep it in those guidelines tonight. Of course, I may entertain some favorite memories, some thoughts, some questions about the future, just kind of things about the show, though. Just kind of keeping it a little bit light. There's a lot going on in the world tonight, obviously, and I want to talk about all that stuff. Tonight isn't the night to talk about all that stuff. It's time for a celebration, or a pause, and a reflection, or whatever you want to put it to. It's just time to take a moment and realize what has been and what will be. Right? So, thanks for everybody who's joining me live on the Duck Pond tonight. I see a bunch of you. I know a bunch of you. That's always awesome. So, like I said, live calls, right? So, take it for what it's worth. You never know who might call in tonight. You never know who won't call in tonight. One person probably not calling in tonight is me. I'm already here. No, there's a lot of great people out there who I've reached out to and said, hey, call in. You've been part of this adventure. It's funny. As I was saying adventure, Germantown Runner pops up his thought that has a venture that... So it was kind of synchronicity that he has adventure up there as I have adventure in my head. So he's advertising for Paranormal Experience or Best Memories of the Show. We'll do that. That's fair. All sorts of fun things. So, but before we get too far gone, I'm sure as soon as I start into this, somebody will call in and interrupt my train of thought, which will be lovely. Just want to take a few minutes and publicly thank some people. There's been a number along the way who have taken the show to different places, and of course, I reached out to him this morning, and he's busy working tonight down in Savannah. But I want to take a moment and publicly, I don't know if I've ever said this before, thank Brian Byers. He was the owner of the network I was on at that moment when the show started, and he encouraged me to continue with the live internet radio. Even though I was leaving a show with a co-host, and I'm sure some of you out there who remember all that, most of you don't, and that's fine, because that's water under the bridge, but he really encouraged me to continue to pursue this. Without him, you wouldn't be hearing me tonight, so we've got to pause and remember Brian and the magical conversation we had, so got to honor that, and boy, if I start down the list of thanking people, I know I'm going to forget people, so forgive me. But yeah, there's a lot of people through the years. I just had to look it up tonight. Tonight is 560. Yeah, 560. So let that settle in. And for those of you math nerds out there who are just like me, because I was curious, in the 11 years, if I did every week, that'd be 574. So that means I've taken 14 weeks off over the 11 years, which is a pretty good accomplishment in my humble opinion. Probably should take more time off, but that isn't happening. So I'm blessed to be here most every week. And I see a lot of hosts saying they're there every week and then they take 2 weeks off out of the month, which kind of makes me laugh. I don't say that. I just show up every week and let my show do the talking, which is how it should be, in my opinion. But some folks out there like to say a lot of great things about their show and then not deliver. I'll just let the show deliver and you can figure it out. I've had a lot of great reviews through the years and a lot of bad reviews through the years, and guess what? Still here. Your words haven't hurt me yet. I was talking to a former show host this afternoon. I don't know if he wants me to give his name out or not, so I'm not going to, but actually a former guest too, so that narrows it down just a touch for some of you out there, who was telling me he missed doing a show, but didn't miss the crazy that goes with it. And I said, I totally understand that, but I don't get much crazy anymore because I just show up and do my thing and not let it get there because, I just don't. It doesn't bother me, so it doesn't really stick, which means it doesn't really come. So, okay, anyways, enough of my little incoherent rambling there for a minute. Kind of felt like I had to get on that soapbox. Live calls tonight, like I said. So, paranormal experience, memory about the show, question for me about the show, or anything else that you want to know about me. Seems kind of dangerous, but it is what it is at this point. I'm sure most of you have a good understanding who I am at this point in life, but for those of you who don't, let's light her up. 234-738-2552. Of course, for you international callers, all that standard tools stuff applies. Good to see some different names in the remember that guy from Ohio that was on years ago? Oh, yes, I do, Mr. Parsons. I do. And he hosts a good show, and he does a much different show than I do. Brian Parsons, the Paranormal News Insider. Good chance to throw him under the bus right here. Let's see who we got. Welcome to the Malliard Report. How are you doing tonight?
Hello, Jim, and congratulations on batting over 500.
Well,
it's amazing. Actually, seriously, in this grand scheme of what the world is today, it is a huge accomplishment. And I'm just in awe of your dedication and how your show has, started in one direction, but you've morphed into another direction and you've grown and the audience has grown. All the kids in the pond there, the PhDs and the Canadian side and around the world.
I look in the pond right now, and it's surprising to me all of the show hosts that are there.
Yeah, there's a ton of shows there now. There's a lot of shows there. I'm waiting for Germantown Runner to have his own show.
I was gonna say it's kind of like I don't know. That's a touching tribute to see all the people that one way or another I've influenced in that. So that's kind of cool.
Well, it's one of my first shows I was ever on doing the paranormal stuff was it was yours, and we told you our experience at Nuclear Lake at one point, and you just sat back, and I'm like, oh well, we're kind of like we're waiting for you to kind of throw something. He goes, nope, you're the perfect storm. There's nothing I could say or do. It's going to add to the story.
Well, sometimes when the story's right, you just let it go, right?
Well, yeah, look, I think we've all, whoever has shows over here, and there's a ton of them, we've had those guests that you don't have to, lead or throw too many questions at them. It just flows. And then you've had these guests, and I'm sure you've had them yourself. It's like pulling teeth. I've had a wonderful person on, and she was fantastic. I'm not naming names. Sweetheart of a human being. PhD, worked for NASA and the government, and it was literally, I was like, can we kill me now? This is the worst interview ever. It was like she's never been interviewed before. So we kind of, it was like I'm texting my co-host, which is Ron Murphy, and he's like, dude, I'm dying here. I'm like, I don't know what to say. You can just hold someone's hands for so long. But I love, there's this family-ish, like you really do. You ask them, really challenging questions of your guests and interesting questions, but you also throw in those, great questions that are important, but have a little bit more of a play to it. And I mean, I love the show. I know Tuesday nights I can come home to the duck pond, flap my wings and hang out with, all the crazy ducks that are in here,
So
great.
you've been around the pond a while. You know that the first Tuesday in November I normally do predictions, right? You've made several.
Yeah, I just made one a couple of days ago, and it was within 24 hours it came true, actually.
Well, so no, we're not getting into the devastation. Well, maybe it
Well,
is a
no,
little devastation for me. No, I want to get this on the record because you sent me a message a couple weeks ago about good season, right? Because your Rangers were done to the Penguins, right? 3-1,
right?
And I said it's not over yet.
No, you know what? I've got so many different things, so many ducks in the pond right now that I'm quack. I could go quack myself. But the problem is, when you see a team like your team was injured actually at this point. They were just, I give them credit for hanging in there, and they came very close because my team decided, hey, we're just playing regular hockey, right? No, it's playoff hockey. You don't stop until the buzzer goes. It's over. And they weren't playing what I call Rangers, pardon the expression, balls to the wall, New York Ranger hockey. We witnessed that last game, exactly how they should be playing every game. That's a championship team. The way the Rangers played the last game with the Hurricanes is a championship team. If they play the next 8 games that way, there'll be a cup in their hands. But these guys, it's true to form with this team. It's like, oh, we're up by 2. Yeah, let's go catch a movie. And they make me want to drink. So I get frustrated, and I didn't watch half of them. And because my blood pressure's high enough as is. Like I need to have more. I mean, I was screaming. I'm screaming. Would somebody hit Crosby? Somebody hit him. He just comes in. No one touches him. It's like he had a glow, a golden glow around him. Like he was the golden child. I have the puck. And it was just insane. I was like, no one's hitting these people. Hit them. Check them. Make their ride home on the bus. Like, wow, that hurt.
So let's jump back into the paranormal though for a minute, because I know you're always busy in the paranormal. So what's new out there? I mean, literally, what's new out there? Because it feels like it's been a hot minute since anything new has happened.
Well, it's not new. I mean, I feel sorry for all these people that put all their faith in Lou Elizondo and all these guys there with this the tip report, and it was a nothing burger. It was always going to be a nothing burger. The government's not, they're not going to release stuff, national security, when everybody in the world, including every enemy the U.S. has, and they're growing faster every day, going to tell them that, well, we don't have anything that will combat this, So there was going to be nothing there, and
we knew that. Well, you're 100% right. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I do, I guess. Obviously,
yeah.
Well, because the JFK report, right? We were supposed to get all this stuff, and then we got 6 pages, and 90% of that was redacted. But we're supposed to get all this UFO stuff, and I'm like, we can't even get JFK, and that was 60 years ago.
But yeah, because I think anybody that follows JFK, and I'm well too young to, I wasn't living through that, but I think if you knew the truth, this country would be turned upside down, because there's a lot of things that went on and people that were involved that should have been arrested and tried for high treason. And if you knew who they were, everybody has an assumption. Germantown runner. But it's one of those things where, I feel bad because I think a lot of the people out there that were like, oh, we're going to finally get disclosure. They needed that disclosure. They needed an I told you so moment. And all they got served was a really crappy, plant-based, bad-tasting nothing burger. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not into plant-based anything at this point.
Well, plant-based plants, right? I mean, give me a good mushroom.
You know
Let's
what?
move
I'll
on.
have a cactus. Yeah, I'll have a cactus, but that's about it.
I mean, there are some. I can't remember what kind of mushroom they are. They're pretty good, and you don't need to do anything with them. Just put some little stuff on them, grill them up, and call it a day. Don't need to. That's
Yes.
it, right? We don't need the
yes,
whole.
for those. Yeah, I'm a meatitarian or a vegan, if you guys want to know. So, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm not into the fake stuff. You know, the only thing that's fake that I can enjoy is the front end of a female. Other than that, I don't care. I don't want fake burgers. I think there should be a law that if it looks like a hamburger, you know, patty, it should either be called a patty or a burger. I think it should be illegal. Kind of like champagne, you know. It's like, no, it's a hamburger, and it has to have real meat in there. But yeah, no, there's a lot of really weird things going on in the world of the paranormal. Somehow the religious right, or people who are very on the, you know, very, I'm going to say Christian, and I'm a very God-fearing person, mind you, but people are coming out of the woodwork and they're putting in this Christian, oh, everything's a demon, or you know, aliens are demons, everything's demonic, or they use the Nephilim, and it's getting crazy. And there's, you know, the researchers that you want, the people that are boots on the ground that, you know, spend hours and hours in really bad places in the woods smelling terrible. They're not being heard. But these storytellers that come out of the woodwork, you know, like a Dark Waters type, I'm not talking about him specifically, but, you know, these people just tell these stories and they're getting like more intense and more like, you know, like, oh, let me push it again, you know. And the aliens had a you know, an enema machine in there, you know, I mean, they're just getting crazy. And it's the research itself is beginning to suffer because the inmates have taken over the asylum at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah. I don't know if anybody else is, you know, been paying attention to it, but I'm making a move. I'm moving down south. So right now it's boxes everywhere, scrambling, and I'll be checking out the Florida scene soon. A lot of UFOs actually in where I'm moving to right now. A lot of UFO sightings.
Well, keep me up to date on how the move goes. I've got somebody else trying to call in already, which is great.
Call in. Thank you. God bless. Love everybody.
And be safe.
Night, everybody.
Be safe. Don't hurt yourself with all those boxes. Okay? Seriously.
Yeah, I thank you.
All right. I know it's a problem. All right.
Yeah, I know. It sucks. Bye.
So, there's Brian Bowden. Somebody's been trying to call in, and I've now cleared the line so it'll actually ring for me, because I would have merged the call or however that technology goes. So we'll just give you a minute here to. I would say where your area code's from, but I don't know who that person is, so we're just going to let them call back in naturally here. Oh boy. Whenever you want, Kat. It's just a crapshoot at this point. Oh yeah, I probably have to open that for you to call in though. Hold on, let's get the Skype open for our friends who have my Skype. Okay, so here we go. You put the notification right above where I have to answer. Anyways, welcome to the Malliard Report. Let's see if I can figure this one out. Oh, hold on. Okay, try again. Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Actually, I know who the voice is now.
Outstanding. Outstanding. You know me in tech. You'll figure it out in a minute.
Yeah, I know. I figured it out because I looked up the area code when I was talking to Brian, so I had a clue.
Is Bowden still there?
No, he's not. I can only have one caller on for whatever reason. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, Sir Bowden. Anyhow, congratulations, Doc.
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
mean, wow, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations, right? I mean, you were saying earlier, and I caught, unlike, you know, others, I listen to the rules, and we're going to talk about the show, Bowden.
Well, he always comes
I got to
unglued.
bite him in the ass. No, I got to bite him in the ass. He knows I love him, and he loves me back. So, and he'll bite. I expect to get bit back. Trust me. So anyhow, no, I just wanted to say, you were talking about everybody in the pond, and you and I, you were definitely an influence on me. And I'm, gosh, I don't even know how many years now I've been doing it and having a ball. And, so it is. It's ripples. You're the pebble in the pond, Duck. If you want to stay in the pond reference.
Yeah. Well.
There's ripples. And, it's all kidding aside, it's true. And I mean, I'm having a blast with my podcast. And like I said, you were definitely, absolutely an influence on me. Go after it, go get it. Power through the struggles and the tangled cords and the, and the equipment and the.
Oh, I do. I remember.
Gee whiz. Gee whiz.
It has been a hot minute since you've been doing your show. So okay, so for those of you who may not recognize the voice, because surprisingly, oh boy, that's just gonna get me in trouble. You're another one of these folks who have been around for a while and haven't been on, which blows my mind. But we've talked about it a few times. It just hasn't worked for your schedule.
We have.
So we'll get it figured out. It's just one of those things where I think about it and then we talk about it and then it doesn't work for your schedule and then we wait 2 more years because I'm an idiot.
Oh, you're not an idiot. We get so busy. We get so busy. I would love to talk to you about my stuff because you do give a different perspective. It's like, I know it sounds funny, but it's like, you're like the cool uncle at the Thanksgiving table when I was a kid. And, if I hung long enough and, waited for, the dessert and the coffee people to leave, because that's the last ones who saunter off into the living room. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
The old school. And you get a couple of quick stories from, the cool uncle or the one that you can say, who liked the weird stuff, but wasn't going to fall for just anything. I've had a couple of those. And that's a compliment. That is like probably the weirdest compliment you ever got.
I do appreciate that. That is kind of weird, but I understand fully what you're saying. So. Yeah,
but to me it was very nostalgic. I can visualize it. I can visualize being a little kid eating whatever's left of my Entenmann's cake, whatever I wound up getting, and everybody else just kind of sitting around. And it was when the old I was raised Jersey Italian, and it was quite the experience. After my mom died, I was about maybe 11, so it was a new culture, and I heard some really good stories if you hung out after the meal, after the dessert and coffee, and half the people leave, and stay with the guys who have the liqueur in the tiny glasses. You know what I mean? I didn't know anything, but the stories stuck. This is what I mean, I mean, it's, and also to say congratulations, and you were definitely an influence, and I can't wait to get together and tell some of those stories.
Yeah, like I said, we'll get there. I have no doubt. That's probably the other reason. Because I look at Germantown Runner, who's been around the show for years. He's actually hosted the show. The only other person to host the show, which is a fun feather for him. But he's never been a guest, but he'll be on one of these nights. But I know he'll be around, right? And it's always good. So, anyways.
Yeah.
Promote your show for a minute so people can find you, so they can find out what you're talking about.
Oh, shoot. Well, it's Sunday and Monday, 8 Eastern, live right now just on YouTube. Went through a lot of crazy stuff with tech and computers crashing and laptops, the whole story, all 9. Had to find a way to just put something out there that I could control because of sound and you know what I'm talking about. So I found that I love doing the YouTube live. So I do, Steve Stockton and I do a Monday Madness on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, and you never know what you're going to get. It could be zombies, it could be cryptids, Bigfoot, ghosts, could be anything. Crazy things caught on tape. and just we have a ball. And Sunday I either have a guest or we doing. Right now we're doing a bit of. I don't like calling it true crime, but I guess it is true crime. Looking into the Jeffrey McDonald case, and 50 years, and it's still somewhat active. Definitely worth talking about and hashing through pulling the facts from the fantasy and that kind of thing. It's very interesting. You do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, always is interesting, right? If it isn't interesting, I don't talk about it.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, and true life. Real life is interesting. And I include the paranormal in that too, because I think that's part of life. But that's just me. That's what I've been into. That's how I look at it. Because it doesn't sound funny. It's like real life, but if you believe it continues on, then you know what I mean. It's of death too, right? It's not morbid. It's kind of cool, but.
Oh, it is cool. It's morbid, but I mean, nobody's undefeated, right? We all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, we talk a lot about that on my show, probably more so than your show, because it's like every week it's something, we're doing. Like last week we did a ghost that came back and solved their own crimes or got help or pushed somebody to evidence or, it's wild. It's what a genre, the paranormal, conspiracy, the whole supernatural, all of it. Yeah.
It definitely all overlaps though, because like you said, okay, so we'll take the paranormal, conspiracy, and true crime, right? And you put them side by side, and it just blurs together. And then you could move true crime beside paranormal because there's some of that, right? And it still works. Or like you could rearrange them, but it all still works.
Sure. True, exactly. I said similar the other night. Now, this was Creepy Unsolved, Dylan Wade Clark, and Donnie Cho and I, and it wasn't really a round table. I think that term's thrown out so much, but, it's plus if you knew what the nights were like around the round table, you probably wouldn't want to be like there were some bastards, you know what I mean? But you have to dig into history, real history, and not, what they tell you, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're doing this show. So what we did was a different kind of concept. I had been not looking into this case, but heard of it. It has been intertwined in my life throughout the last 50 years. Since 1970 is when the actual thing, Fort Bragg, Green Beret, some people call it the Green Beret killing, some go by the Jeffrey McDonald case, the McDonald murders. Yeah. It was just, I don't know if you're familiar with it off the top of your head, but the man is still in jail and, of course, still says that he is innocent. And it's gone flip-flop back and forth. Movies, miniseries, a new miniseries, books, multiple books, 50 years.
That's crazy.
That's a huge amount of, and there's still controversy about it. So anyway, we took the approach of these two young gentlemen I did the episode with. One of them, I didn't tell them how I felt or anything about it. I said, we want to do this case. Come in blind. Other than your own research, go whatever direction it takes you. Meet you on Sunday. The other gentleman that we brought in hadn't heard anything and didn't even have that much. A little bit younger, and certainly wasn't a teenager in the 70s. And we took that approach, and we watched clips from documentaries and listened to recordings and testimonies and grazed across the case, and then told all the listeners, now go back and look into it and see on Sunday. We'll be back again and see what you think. But stick to facts that can be proven, not something somebody hearsay said 25 years after the fact that it's like a red herring. You see what I'm saying? We took that kind of approach. I thought it was the neatest way to do that. Something different,
That is a good way to do that. I thought about doing that with some paranormal subjects. Like, we'll just take Roswell, for example, because I know there's some people who get tired of me talking about that on shows that I'm on. But we know very little about that, but there's been a cottage industry based on what we know, right?
Yes. And one of the things that intrigues me so much about Roswell is his name escapes me, but the police officer. Family man, the one where you see the picture of him kneeling with the piece of metal, and a letter, I believe. If I'm trying to visualize it, but I can't remember whether he had the metal or it was a letter, and we just heard about the metal. Yeah. Do you know the story I'm talking about?
I do, but
he brought a piece home, and his kids saw it, and they testified that they saw it, and I don't know. I'm foggy, but I know that has to do with Roswell.
It's been a few minutes since I had all those facts in my head.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't you love to have Jim Mars right now?
Oh.
Right now. Oh, Duck, man. If I could call somebody right now at this moment, pull out my crystal ball, my, mamby-jamby and all that stuff, and just have Jim Mars in his daggum Stetson cowboy hat come down here and tell us about JFK.
It's funny because the one conversation I had with him, I started the show with what's the one question you're tired of being asked about, and he said JFK, and I said, well, there goes my first page of notes.
No shit. Well, the son of a bitch taught it. He taught the class at college.
I know.
And to speak to the man who danced with the strippers down at Ruby's Club, pretty near the night before the shooting, if memory serves me correctly, he shows a picture of his young self up there on the stage dancing with one, and I think it was the day of.
Yeah, somewhere in that time. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Prove me wrong, no problem. But oh gosh, and then to be a young cub reporter and to strive to be the journalist that so many podcasters and stuff, YouTubers, whatever you want to call it, bloggers, try to do now. Some people just make it up, we know.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people that go over and above and beyond to try to stay on that integrity line, because we care about putting out the truth. You see what I mean?
Oh, I do.
And you're absolutely 100% correct. You can take paranormal cases and true crime cases and things like that, and probably more so on top of it, if you want to have Bigfoot and UFO sightings and all that.
Oh yeah, you could go wild.
All of it. Yeah, it's all connected. It's all connected, and I think that's why we're so intrigued by it. We're so we never get tired of it. It's like food, really, because food you can switch up and have spicy one day, and you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, especially I always tell people are always like, "What's your favorite thing?" And I'm like, "The next one." Like I spend the whole week. Well, this week's been easy, right? Because I knew I had some people I had in mind to be on, but when they all fell apart, I'm like, live calls, and there's no homework, right? So it's kind of an easy week.
Yeah.
But tomorrow starts the next week of digging into whoever it's going to be and looking all that stuff up and the research and and then you get the people, you get the ones that you care. Not that you don't care about every single one, because every single one, but some you have to admit are harder than others. Like when you have on a Mark Shaw, and he's written at least 5-6 books. He's correspondent for multiple MSM. You name it, a career and a half. Worked with in the same office with name the lawyer that was the stairs, the doctor with the stairs, and he was involved with Ruby. Oh gosh, not Belli, Melvin Belli. Is that what I'm thinking? Oh, I don't know. You're putting me on the spot with all these horror.
I'm sorry.
This is a bad trivia game we're playing here tonight.
I'm sorry. Well, see, the thing is we can't even really play because I'm not sure of the answers. Yeah. So we'll just go with that, and if it's wrong, fill in the correct name later. We'll just do it with confidence, and everybody will be like, yeah. So, but anyway, when you have a guest of that kind, and you want to have a conversation. Mark Shaw very much into the JFK. I don't know if you're familiar, but he took a backdoor, side door. I don't want to say backdoor because that gives it a dark connotation. He got a side door, almost a servant's entrance. Really, he would smile at that, with Dorothy Kilgallen, because he admired her journalism. Are you familiar with Dorothy? She was a journalist. She was on What's My Line.
Oh yeah.
She was a journalist. Yes, she was a journalist back in the day. She did a Hollywood commentary weekly, probably more than that actually, because I think it was like, what happened in Hollywood last night kind of column, and who's sleeping with who, and what were they wearing, that kind of stuff, And she had integrity, and she was really interested in. She took after her daddy, who was a newspaperman for years, and integrity in journalism, like we were just saying with podcasters now, and a lot of them. Like I said, you can tell. So anyway, he got that back door because she was fantastic. Friends with Kennedy, been at his house. He'd been at hers. Lived in, the higher ups of the lead, had a radio show. Mark Shaw found her because she was found dead just like Marilyn. Very similar. Highly suspicious conditions. Way too many drugs for any person to have taken on their own. Common sense would just absolutely convince you if you heard this case. You're not familiar with Dorothy Kilgallen?
No. I'm just getting into true crime, so.
Oh, okay. Well, you Mark Shaw. Go straight to Mark Shaw. Because it's everything that you love. It's got Jack Ruby. It's got Kennedy. It's got backdoor Kennedy stuff. He starts with Kennedy's father, the patriarch.
Yeah, I was going to say the Kennedy father is the interesting guy.
Yeah, it's the first book is called The Poison Patriarch, Mark Shaw, and then he goes from there to, dabbles into, the Kennedy shooting and, along with other stuff around that timeline. And then he finds Dorothy Kilgallen, and he follows what she was doing. And she actually was involved in the Sam Shepard case. You're familiar with that one?
Vaguely.
Okay, Sam Shepard.
Yeah.
Sam Shepard was going to accused of killing his wife. I think he threw her down the stairs, or it might have been the one-armed man case. I think it was the one-armed man case. Like a Fugitive was written after. So anyway, she wrote on that. She wrote for the paper and was sitting in the courtroom, got to know the lawyers, wound up being able to get in on the Ruby case after he shot Oswald. And she got herself almost 15 minutes alone with Jack Ruby. And when it was over, she took off and she went to New Orleans. So Mark Shaw got his hair stood up on the back of his neck, and he followed her. And he got his idea of what happened with JFK. And, like you said, JFK, if you looked at it like a paranormal case, I'm telling you right now, it's all connected. And it's like we compartmentalize and argue about, my piece of the puzzle is more right than yours is. And we don't realize if we just see how they all fit, we get a better picture of the cover of the box, get a much better view. Because I think it's all connected in a lot of ways. There was a lot of hands involved in JFK, and there's a lot of aliens and UFOs and Bigfoot sightings and cryptids and ghosts and gosh, dogmen and everything else. I mean, something's going on, Duck.
That's for sure. So
Man, I didn't mean to keep you on so long.
I was going to say, I'm going to
Duck.
push you off. That's fine. I see Cat Ward, who is desperately trying to be on the program. And I remember a time where I couldn't beg her to be on. Now she's like burning the line down, trying to be on, which is just ironic.
Tell her I'll move right on over and you let her in. I'm shutting up now.
Well, thanks for
I love
thanks
you,
for
Doug. I love you.
Thanks for the kind words, and we'll figure this out soon. Hold me
All right,
to that. You got it.
All right.
Talk to you soon. So look, we're gonna do this. Gonna do this backwards for once. Now she won't answer her phone. Look at this. How exciting.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
What in the world is that? Oh, there you are. I was like, what? Was going all funny colors and a whole bunch of funny things. Okay, anyways.
Something at my studio. I don't want to be on camera.
No, you're not. It's just for me. It's okay.
I'm not on YouTube either.
No, you're not on YouTube. You're just live for me. So, but it's kind of funny. I'm like, what in the world's going on here?
Oh my God. My dog's trying to jump on my shoulders. I'm not giving her attention.
Oh, I understand. It's So how's Canada?
Canada in my area is really hot, hotter than Hades. Holy
I was
heck.
going to say, I was just talking in the chat room about that. Like, I'm sweating, and people are like, why you keep wiping your brow? It's like 90 degrees in the studio.
And it's friggin'... Oh, sorry, hang on a second. I got to let her up. Come on. Oh, maybe you want to say... You want to congratulate Jim, too?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
I mean, can't miss your 15 minutes of fame.
No, so, félicitations, mon cher ami. Congratulations on 11 years. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's like I was telling somebody today, I had plans of doing it for like 6 months, and then here we are.
You've had amazing guests, amazing topics. I mean, I started out as a fan, and now we're great friends, and I've met so many amazing friends through you. I mean, I heard Kat Hobson was on, and through her, I met Cisco. Oh, two amazing ladies. And then I heard, of course, Ron Murphy, had him on my show as well. We tongue-tied now. Great friends with him too. Brian Bowden, Hey Uncle, and Al Santoriga. I heard them on, and it's just you have amazing guests, and you've helped me.
I was gonna say you've had the Germantown Runner on your show.
Yes, I have. Yes, he was amazing with his.
He is amazing, but he hasn't got the honor of being on my show yet. So I'm going to keep holding that over him. But he's hosted this show now. I know he's thrilled about that. So maybe that's where it should be, right? Maybe I'll have him on the host again, and we'll keep that streak alive.
Maybe.
So okay, for the people who don't know who you are, you're the Paranormal Heart, Kat Ward.
Kat Ward. Yep.
And so you've got a great show and a great Facebook group too, by the way. So
thank you. Yeah, hello to the pond. Hello to the pond. I mean, so many great people in there. I've had Dr. David Perodin on too. So, so many. You just seem to bring people together. There. So you just bring people together, and it's just amazing the amount of people that show up in the pond, and we'll just chat, about different topics that you're talking about sometimes, and
sometimes you don't, which is all good too.
Yeah.
I'll look up and I'll be like, wait a second. And then it gets really fun for me when I'm trying to stay engaged with you guys because you're talking about something great, but I'm trying to listen to the guest and they're talking about two different things, and it gets a little difficult. No.
Pull together and try to make you laugh.
Yeah,
we've done that a couple times.
I was gonna say it's been. Yeah, I know. It happens. It's okay though.
We haven't done that in a while.
I know. Well, there was a little a couple weeks ago.
We'll have to do that sometime soon.
So, before I forget, this isn't the time or place, but how's the audiobook coming?
Oh, it's coming along. It's starting to get a little faster now. There's 22 chapters, and I just completed chapter 8, but I have to redo it. The great thing is I'm working with the author. The name of the book is called Integrity, an Obsidian Guardian novel written by J.B. Coates. She used to have a show. She's a paranormal investigator as well. Didn't know she had books. She had written books. And she approached me and asked me if I would narrate them. And Brian Anderson, oh, God love that guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, another gem around here who doesn't get the credit he deserves.
I'm sure he has hit his head on his desk countless times with me trying, like, why is she not understanding? But no, he's mentored me with this book narration. I mean, it's not easy. So all these people who do it for a living, I'm hoping to do that now as a living. But for those who really do it for a living and know what they're doing, kudos to them, because it's not easy. But no, I'm on chapter 8. I have to redo it. When I have a hard time trying to find my voice for a specific character, I just message JB and we'll Skype, and she'll try and help me find the voice, and it's just really nice. Or you probably saw I posted the other day, some words I have a real difficult time pronouncing, so I Google them to try and see how to pronounce them. And speaking French, sometimes English words that are French words that are pronounced in English are a struggle for me sometimes. Like it's supposed to be armoire in French, but the book I still can't say armoire.
There you go.
It sounds like I'm meowing. I tried 30 times and I just couldn't get it. So finally I messaged her and I said, honey, you're not going to get, either you can have meow or armoire. So the French way or the meowing way. She says, well, although I'd love the meowing way, people might not know what that is. So she says, go ahead with the French accent. I'm like, okay, good. But no, it's great working with the author while narrating this book. I'm having a lot of fun.
Let's say that's good. So who do you just had Sean Graham on, another former Pawn person.
Yeah.
That last week or 2 weeks ago? It kind of all burst together in my little world. So you're going to have to help me out.
Past Sunday. So 2 days ago.
See, I know I seen it. I just couldn't remember when it was.
Yeah. It was a 2-hour show. My show is normally an hour, but some people, it depends how the conversation's going. If it's going really well, I'll just let it go. Like when my sister Cisco, I was going to say, was on a couple of years ago. That was over 3 hours. Sean was just 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. So, he spoke about his near-death experience, and I knew about his story, but I didn't know all of it. So some of the things that he talked about, just blew me away because I didn't know. So I was so happy that he decided to come on and share his experience with everybody, and he's writing a book, and it's quite impressive. As
the joke goes, it's about time that he writes a book, but people say that about me, and well, that hasn't happened yet, so we're just going to leave that go.
Yeah, but I've read what you've written.
I was going to say, the people out there who know how I write know that the book is probably not a good option. We'll stick to Twitter.
I remember a few years ago you sent me something. You're like, yeah, can you just proofread this book for me? And I'm not going to do it again.
In fact, that was short and to the point. Like, that wasn't a story. That was things I was trying to accomplish, line by line. So...
Yeah, but don't give up. Keep trying.
We'll keep working on tweets first, and maybe we'll get those all down.
Okay.
I'm going to kick you off because I know there's a few other people, and I look at the time and I go, oh God, if I don't.
I know.
So, but thank you.
Thank you again for having a great show.
It's so great to see you and your desire to want to be on compared to years ago when there was begging and screaming before you came on. So.
I would want to call in so badly, and I was terrified, and
now it's like it keeps popping up. Cat. I know Cat wants to be on. I got to get on. Before it was like, come on, Cat, let's do this.
No, I'm good.
So this has been enjoyable for me on that level. So thank you.
Thank you. You take care, and congratulations, and here's to 100 more years.
Maybe not 100, but okay. I'd be pretty old at that point.
Well, you could be from the other side. There's ghost writers. Why not ghost podcasters? Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that works out. Thanks, kid.
Take care, my friend. Congratulations. And we'll take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, good grief. Skype is wonderful. Okay, so we're probably getting to the point where we're going to get our last caller in, and I know there's a few people who've been dabbling around saying they're going to call in. So if you're that person, like I said, we're probably getting down to last caller territory, because even though there's 10 minutes left, I know how I talk to people. There's a bunch of people out there. Ghost Podcasters is going to be a thing, so be ready for that. Man, I feel sorry for whoever's watching me. Somebody should probably, at least you're not playing a drinking game when every time I wipe sweat off my head tonight, because, well, you probably haven't made it to this point if you started playing that game tonight. So, I was doing well, and then I had to turn the fan down, and now it's getting hot in here again. So, this is a great room, but it has that afternoon sun coming. Well, it doesn't come in anymore, but it just takes it and bakes it in here. Oh, excuse me. So, I think I did see Kim from Extension 13 ask earlier who my favorite guest was. I want a tour of my office. I'll give you a tour of my office, Kim, but I'm not doing it for everybody because it is a wreck in here. Actually, if MLK Author calls in, he can tell you a little bit more about the office as well. He's seen the wreck that is this lovely little studio of mine. Now, I actually, probably chugging this Diet Mountain Dew has given me the trying to stay hydrated in the sauna, that is. They tell me to stay hydrated when I do this show. And then I walk in here with one bottle of Mountain Dew tonight, and then not drinking out of the Circle bottle for those of you who are, says you're trying to call. Well, you know what? I will call you back. How's that sound? Look out. Hopefully this is you.
Hi. Sorry I can't take your call right now. Please leave a message and I'll get back.
Now it goes to your voicemail, so we'll keep playing. Goes to your voicemail when I tried calling you, so we'll get there. Who is my favorite guest? I'll answer that before the end of the show. Leave you in suspense for those people out there who want to know.
Hi. Sorry I can't.
Go straight to his voicemail. Apparently we're doing voicemails right now. Yeah, I know, but it's not showing up on my end and it's not showing up at his end, which is phenomenal, Germantown Art. All of the technology in all of the world means we can't get a hold of each other right now. Isn't this phenomenal? Well, great radio, too. Great podcast. Now it says I missed a call from him. Okay, well, we're going to try it again. Uh-oh, now it's ringing. Now he has to answer the phone. Now it's on him if he doesn't
Hello?
answer. You're going to answer the phone this time?
Hey, Duckmaster.
How are you doing this evening?
We must have been crossing each other's paths, I guess. Huh?
I know, and then, well, it showed me that I had a missed call from you, and I'm like, it didn't pop up on my screen. And then I look and I see I have like 4. I'm like, what is going on? But anyways, must have known that I used Skype for the last call, and it's like, nope, not using Google Voice anymore. I love technology.
Hey, man, happy anniversary.
Well, thank you, sir, and I'm glad you called in because you've been around long enough to be a familiar voice around here. A lot of people know you. Around here, at least. Well,
not as much as they know Germantown Runner and Brian Bowden and all Cat, all your other crew. But I feel honored to be included in your group. I love your show, and I wasn't big on the podcast and listening to people's podcasts, but you've kind of opened up a whole new world for me, and I want to say thank you for giving me some exposure with the book. I mentioned you in the acknowledgments. I've gotten a ton of feedback because of your show, and I love listening to all the other different viewpoints. You've got a wonderful show. You're a fantastic interviewer. I was mentioning earlier that I'm kind of a pull your teeth type of a person when it comes to interviews. You kind of had to pull teeth to get me to answer some questions, but thanks to you, I was able to kind of get my point across, and I really appreciate you and your show.
Well, I don't think you were a pull the teeth kind of guest. I think it's fascinating to me that your subject matter, which is the Martin Luther King Jr. assassination, for those folks who are playing along for the first time tonight and may not have a clue who we're talking to. And so it's fascinating for me, so I didn't feel it was that way. So just for the record.
Well, thank you. But, I love your show, and I cannot wait to listen to more of your guests. And you've kind of opened up a whole new world for me. Like I'm starting to listen to more of these people. I know I need to check in and find out what Kat's going on her show. And I guess, Cisco, I guess she's got a show. Is that correct?
Yep, she's got one. So, like I said, now that you're in the ecosystem, you're gonna be listening to a lot more shows. Because, like I said, it was kind of weird just after one point when I looked up and everybody. Well, not everybody. Germantown Runner doesn't have a show. Of course, he calls this his show, right? Because he's like the executive producer around here. So, but otherwise, like everybody,
he's like your MC. He's like your host.
Yeah, he
like
does.
He's the host for the host. Like he's the Ed McMahon for the Johnny Carson.
Yeah, he does great work. So, but yeah, everybody else. Well, Gio doesn't have his own show, but man, he's going to. I can just feel it. And he's going to sit here and say no, but give me a couple years, and he'll be hosting his own podcast, and probably you will be too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I again, I don't want to. I don't want to take up a lot of time. I don't want to.
Well,
you got 5 more minutes. You need to have somebody else give you a call, but I just want to call and say thanks, buddy.
And I want to say thank you for you, and we'll just leave it at that. And
happy anniversary.
Thank you, sir.
All right, God bless.
So there is MLK author for those of you who are playing along who didn't recognize the voice and who are on the duck pond. So he left the line open. So he left the opportunity for somebody else to sneak in, which is great. So we're going to leave that too, and then so maybe there is a opportunity for somebody like well, here we go. We'll get the last call here. This will probably be the last call. So who is it? Who is it? Who
do you want it to be?
Well,
hey there, it's Kat.
I never know. I'm always trying to figure out by area code quickly, and it never gets. My mind doesn't get there quick enough.
Well, it's Kat Hobson.
Kat Hobson, thank you.
You're welcome. But I could not let tonight go by without telling you thanks for everything that you've done for me. And I'm so not the least bit surprised that you've got your 11-year anniversary, and I'm with Cat H, that this is probably going to be 111.
Well,
so
I don't know about that, but we'll probably be here for 12 for sure.
Well, you'll probably step away just because, but you'll come back. But I am so pleased that our paths crossed and that we're friends, and that you took a completely untechnical human being and made me able to do the things that I do now. So thank you for that.
As I was just joking with MLK, right? I've converted a lot of people into doing this. So he may not see it yet, or Gio may not see it yet, but you hang around long enough and it just happens. Of course, you already had started down that path before I laid into you, but now you're in a whole different place.
Well, yeah, I was not a producer. And sometimes I'm still not.
That's
but,
okay.
You come to love it. You come to love the people that you get to work around and talk to. And I think that's why we all do it. It's just for the love and to satisfy curiosity and to educate ourselves. And you're very good at that. So I'm going to duck out because you've got another 2 minutes that somebody else can get on here.
Oh, see, you're trying to duck out on me? Okay, thanks, Kat. I'll let you duck out. And I just literally ducked her out. Okay, so we've got a minute left because of the time delay, so there'll be a little gap here. And somebody else is she calling back in? Did I hang? Oh, no. Now it's getting crazy on me. Yeah, she was trying to call back in. I hung up on her. I feel bad. 10,000 more shows. I don't know about that, Germantown Runner. Okay, so I guess. Oh, yes, Germantown Runner does pop it up. What is my favorite breakfast cereal? I guess it is that time of the show where I have to answer that question. I love Frosted Flakes, and my favorite breakfast is steak, eggs, and bacon, of course, because bacon, no breakfast is complete without bacon. I did promise Kim, my favorite guest. Now, saying that is like picking one of your favorite children, right? I've had a number of guests. We talked about Jim Mars, the late great Jim Mars, earlier. George Norrie pops to mind. Bob Levine, former NASCAR team owner. Chef Andrew Gould.
It's the Malliard Report. Yeah, the Malliard Report.
want to thank you for joining us. It's been a good show tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Take a few moments, subscribe, share, all the fun stuff. You know how to do it. I don't have to tell you. Just be ready for next week. It'll be sooner than you think.